This is a passage from a book called ADHD 2.0 by Edward M Hollowell MD and John J Ratey MD. New Science and Essential Strategies for Thriving with Distraction, from Childhood Through Adulthood. Dr. Hollowell gave a speech to a Chinese crowd for the first time, and when he finished, one mother explaining that her son met all the criteria of her 7-year-old with ADHD. I will now read from the book, and hopefully you will cry as I have at 68 years of age, recently diagnosed with ADHD myself. One mother came up and stood nervously in front of me. After others had spoken, I noticed she still had not had her chance, holding back politely. So I invited her to speak. Thanking me, she told me how perfectly her 7-year-old son fit the description of the boy with attention problems that I described in my talk. As she described him, it was all I could do to contain myself. "We must get him the help he needs," I said, "right now." But how? I wondered. Since the mother lived in Shanghai, I suggested we email each other and try to work out a plan. Over the following several months, we did exactly that. What ensued was the most unusual case I've ever conducted in my 40-year career. I met the mother, whom I'll call Lily, in person only one time for about a minute. I never met the patient, her son, let's call him Samuel, at all. But Lily was not deterred by these facts. She didn't feel that she could find the help she needed for Samuel in Shanghai. I asked her via email, what could I do 7,000 miles away to help her son, not knowing her, him, his father, the school, the teacher, the language, the curriculum, the customs, the country, the resources, basically not knowing anything at all. This is where my own ADHD and VAST characteristics came into play. The challenge energized me. This felt like the right kind of difficult for me. Lily wanted me to give it a try. I didn't think I could do any harm, so I said via email, let's give it a shot. First, I had to take history and make diagnosis. Samuel was having trouble in school. Lily sent me a photo of him showing a really cute little boy in blue shorts and a yellow shirt playing soccer outside. He looked cheerful, likable, and happy, but Lily told me about the trouble he was having focusing and remembering directions and how his grades were suffering. Samuel was becoming unhappier by the day. Adding to his history was that he was left-handed and had been corrected, as the Chinese put it, so now he was writing with his right hand. I knew that this kind of correction often causes its own problems. Not knowing how Lily would receive it or whether she would be able to make sense of it, I sent her the DSM-5 criteria for ADHD and asked her to check off all the symptoms that she felt applied to Samuel. She replied immediately, less than 24 hours after I pushed send on my email to her. In her opinion, Samuel had every single symptom listed in the DSM-5. Had this been a traditional assessment, the diagnosis would be clear. ADHD combined type. Psychiatric treatment depends more than anything else and more than in any other specialty on the relationship between the patient and the doctor. While technically Samuel was the patient, practically speaking, Lily was, and she and I were off to a great start. For all that we had going against us, on the plus side, Lily spoke and wrote good English, so my ignorance of Chinese would not matter much. In addition, she was highly motivated and already demonstrated that she wanted to work with me to help her son. But I had to ask myself whether I could devise a treatment plan that Lily could implement simply by following my suggestions via email. She did not have easy access to a psychiatrist, so there would be no doctor in China involved, which meant we would not use medication. You'd make do with what you've got. We were We were blessed to have email, which afforded speedy communication, as well as a massively motivated, intelligent mom. Not to mention, as it turned out, a massively motivated, intelligent little boy. This started to get fun, though it was a challenge for sure. I put together a treatment plan based on the following elements. 1, my establishing trust with Lily. 2, her having read Driven to Distraction in Chinese, enabling her to explain my background and recommendations to her husband, to Samuel, and to his teachers. 3, a strength-based model. Lily explained to Samuel that he had a race car for a brain, but with bicycle brakes. I told her it was key for him to understand that his race car brain was a great asset of which he should feel proud. He just needed to work on his brakes so that then he could win races and become a champion. 4, human connection and warmth. I asked Lily to hug Samuel a lot in the morning and in the evening and tell him how much she loved him. I stressed the importance of touch because he got so many reprimands in school. He needed to get lots of love at home. I also told her to ask the school to stop hitting him. If they were willing to put an end to corporal punishment, I was sure that Samuel would progress much more rapidly. My humble suggestion to the school was try treating him with kindness and warmth. 5, the promotion of a positive mindset. I asked Lily to adopt a consent. You can do it approach with Samuel to try to implant in him the conviction that not only could he succeed, but he would succeed. 6, reading aloud to him each night. Each day before school, Lily telling him how much she loved him, what a fast brain he had, that all he needed to do was strengthen his brakes and he would win races. That one day he would be a champion and would bring great credit to his family and his country. 8, having Samuel do balancing exercises, cerebellar stimulation. Samuel already played football, soccer, and he got plenty of traditional exercise. So I gave Lily a set of exercises that challenge balance and coordination. This was my homespun version of the Zing program as I explained it to Lily. Samuel should do the balancing exercises listed below for 30 minutes every day, in any order he wanted. I assured her that he could change them around for variety. If you can, I said, get a wobble board, a board with a rounded bottom so that it is hard to balance on. Also get an inflatable exercise ball that's big enough for him to sit on so his legs can't touch the floor. 1, stand on one leg for 1 minute or until he falls over. 2, stand on one leg with eyes closed for 1 minute or until he falls over. 3, take off socks and then put on socks without sitting down. 4, stand on wobble board for as long as he can, up to 5 minutes, then do it with his eyes closed. 5, sit on exercise ball with feet off the floor for as long as he could, up to 5 minutes, then do it with eyes closed. 6, put 5 playing cards on the floor, standing on one leg, bend over, and pick up one card at a time. 7, do a low plank hold, elbows down on the ground, feet extended behind, for up to 3 minutes. Learn to juggle balls and then spend 3 to 5 minutes juggling. Samuel started doing the exercises right away, and Lily held her end of the program as well. She hugged him, and she got her husband to do the same. They changed their approach to talking with Samuel and asked his school to do so also. To help that cause, Lily shared our book with his main teacher, who in turn shared it with her administrators. Once Samuel started to improve, they agreed to stop corporal punishments. To hear Lily tell it, Samuel started to improve within a matter of weeks. Noticeably so. He was doing better in school, more focused, less disruptive in his class, more successful with homework and class participation. The news of his transformation seemed to spread, she said, like juicy gossip. Parents wanted to know what was going on with Samuel. Why were his scores going up so much? They asked Lily what she was doing differently. No more yelling. No more hitting, she explained. More were surprised that Lily's husband was going along with this plan, for no one seemed to be arguing with the results. Samuel's better behavior and greater happiness. Lily reported that others seemed impressed. All of this happened in a few short weeks, and it continued for months. Connection, education, exercise with an emphasis on cerebellar stimulation, a strength-based model. One day, Samuel was given a chocolate for being the top student on a Chinese exam. He brought the chocolate home and gave it to Lily. She asked him, "Would you like to eat the chocolate now?" He said, "Oh no, Mom, that chocolate is much too important to eat." The first key element to this success story was connection. Making the connection in person with Mom through my lecture was crucial. Even though I didn't speak Chinese, Lily spoke English, and we relied on help from translation software to fill in the blanks. The information I provided opened Lily's eyes. It was an aha moment. Suddenly, she could see what was going on with Samuel. He wasn't lazy. He didn't need punishments and beatings. He needed to learn how to control his race car brain. Lily was mentally agile enough herself to get it right away and to run with it. Once we had made the connection and established trust, the next key element was education. Getting both parents and several teachers on board so fast was, by comparison to what I've had to do in the United States, breathtaking. Based on what I'd been told before going to China, I would have expected the opposite. But then creating the right environment, the stellar environment at school, was crucial. That the school was willing to do everything I suggested reflects so very well on that school. Samuel would never have achieved the success he did without that. It was also important that they understood the race car brain with bicycle brakes model of ADHD, because it is accurate but not shaming. It allowed Samuel to aspire to become a champion if he worked on his brakes, but it reminded him that there was work to be done. The key here was to use the model consistently instead of saying, "You're a bad boy," or "Shape up." Lily said, "Your brakes are failing you." She still intervened, making it clear that certain behaviors needed to stop or change, but she did not do this via shame. This is crucial to the long-term growth and success of the child. Shame is the most disabling learning disability. The cerebellar exercises were the main, indeed the only, strictly therapeutic intervention I used with Samuel. They worked wonders. In all honesty, I was amazed to see how rapidly he progressed. Now, nearly 3 years later, I'm still in touch with Lily. She tells me the progress continues and Samuel is thriving. How much did all this mean to him? So much that chocolate became too precious to eat. I can't imagine a 7-year-old expressing pride more ardently than that. If you have a child with ADHD and is having learning problems, please pay attention to what I've just read. Thank you.